What is going on, everyone? It is Tuesday. We have a two-game slate today. We have the Fever versus the Dream, and we also have the Aces versus the Storm. I'm very excited about tonight's games. I really love some of the props we have available to us for the game and what we've taken. Tomorrow, not as much, but either way, on here to break down the slate today. Just as a reminder, we are going to try to be doing some more consistent content. So yesterday I gave a preview of Monday Night Football. Today we're doing the W. Tomorrow we may actually be breaking down the upcoming soccer slate on Saturday and Sunday, and then hopefully getting a college football preview out, and then a Sunday NFL preview out as well. So if you like the content, make sure to follow Parlay Olay Bets on X, and also my own Twitter account, Wade_Andrew on X. I try to drop prop threads for both football and basketball. So appreciate you all tuning in, though. We have a fantastic slate coming up. The Dream versus the Fever. The Dream won last game. The Fever were in the game for most of the time, and then the Dream kind of carried on, and we're able to get an easy win here. And listening to Steph White's press conference, it seems like there was a little bit of contention about how many fouls the Dream had called for them. And I'm going to look up the numbers real quick. I should have had this available to me, but that was really interesting. When you look at playoff matchups, you typically see a lot of changes from game to game. But in hearing that press conference, it really sounded like Steph White was pretty okay with how the team performed overall. Just didn't feel like they had the right calls from a foul perspective, even though they got to the foul line more than the Dream did. So she felt pretty comfortable in that. She felt like they were doing a pretty good job defensively for the most part and limiting some of the three-point shots. But they just couldn't make anything on their own end, which holds up. Aaliyah Boston had 15 PAs and only 5 assists. She's a 44 to 45% conversion rate performer on average, and getting 33% of your conversions or your PAs and the conversions is not exactly ideal, and goes to show you how poorly the Fever were shooting in this game. And there was strong defense, but it was a lot of missed bunnies and stuff like that. So a couple things I want to call out in this game. The Dream are one of the worst teams in the league at defending the pick and roll, and that bodes well really for the body of work that Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston do, and we saw that in this game. Kelsey Mitchell had a fantastic game, shooting 9 of 18, scoring 27 points, and dishing out 13 potential assists, with 4 assists to go with that. A lot of that is coming off pick and roll action. And the one thing, though, that I want to call out here is that the Fever have really bought into the operating through Aaliyah Boston phase. And we saw waves of this go throughout the season, but we really saw this come on towards the end of the season. And Steph White had made note in the second to last game that she really felt like this team was starting to find their groove. And what I found from that second to last game was that groove is Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston just kind of playing a two-woman game there between each other. The one thing I am curious about is, Aaliyah Boston, with having her on the perimeter, it does a couple things for the game. So it brings Brianna Jones out to the perimeter, which kind of limits her rebounds. That's why you see like a Naz Hillman get 9 rebounds in the last game. But it also takes away some of the shooting ability that Aaliyah Boston has, right? She's not getting nearly as many post-up touches as you would typically expect. And so I think there needs to be a little bit more of a balance there, and I wouldn't be surprised to see her come out just a little bit more aggressive in this game. She is arguably the best facilitator on this team, and having her on the perimeter opens up a lot of things for the Fever team, but she also is the second best scorer on the team. So you need her to be able to shoot as well in order to be effective. You would like to see her get that 12 to 15 point range, and then obviously like the 10 potentials. I think that's really where they need to kind of work on that, especially on the pick and roll when she's the screener, being able to roll off that and get Kelsey Mitchell, giving her the ball downhill. So I really like both their assists in this game. I don't think the Fever are going to move entirely away from Aaliyah Boston operating the offense, but I do think we see both Aaliyah and Kelsey kind of feeding off each other and dropping some potentials to each other. As I mentioned, Brianna Jones' rebounds line is kind of difficult here because she's getting played off into the perimeter a bit. And the other person, the other big, Jordan Canada did not look very good. She struggled with foul trouble, so that's part of the issue here. The one thing about Jordan Canada that I love, and then the one thing I don't love about Jordan Canada is when she's on and when she can get to the basket and make her shots, she is a phenomenal point guard. She can open up so many lanes for Alicia and for Ryan and for the others. But she struggled in this game, and sometimes she gets a little bit too I'm not closed-minded, I guess. She kind of just gets into a mode of drive to the paint. She can get there, but she's not the best converter when she gets there. But when she gets out in transition and moves well, um, it's lights out for Jordan Canada. She went 1 of 8 in this game and got into foul trouble. Only had, I think, 7 potentials. So I'm interested to see how she comes out and plays this game. I wouldn't be surprised to see her obviously shoot better. I wouldn't be surprised to see a 15 or 16 PA game. But one of the things I noticed in this game, even with Canada in the lineup, and one of the things I've noticed across the board with the Dream is that they like to get the ball on the wings to then feed the interior. And that's where Naz Hillman has come in with some of her potential assists. And so that's one of the lines I'm actually looking at is her assist line, because I like how Naz Hillman is operating on the perimeter. She's kind of being that wing that can get the ball on cutters and into the post there. So something to look out for there as well. Natasha Howard saw a dip in minutes at the end of the season. Also didn't play a ton of minutes in this game. She had a strong first half, but kind of tailed away there. She just isn't able to bring it entirely defensively, whereas you see like a Brianna Turner can be a little bit better from a defender perspective. So I'm just weary of betting on any Natasha Howard lines in this game or in general, because Steph White has seemingly kind of played her off in that second half most of the time. A couple other things to note. I really like Alicia in this matchup. I mentioned this in the first game, but the Fever allow a lot of points in the paint to guards, and Alicia is able to get downhill very effectively. She had a lot of shots in the paint, just couldn't convert, but also got to the line quite a bit. So she drew a lot of fouls from the Fever, which is something you want to do, especially if you can get down there and get foul calls on Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston got into some foul trouble there as well, but I expect to see a better Fever team in this game. Playing at home is going to be a huge advantage for them. The other line that I really like in this game is going to be Lexi Hull. Lexi had 13, I believe, shot attempts in the last game, and when you get that kind of volume, eventually that's going to hit. They were leaving Lexi open for the most part throughout the game, and she had 5 attempts from 3, hit just 1. If they want to win this game, they really need Lexi to step up, because the Dream are going to be very focused on stopping Kelsey Mitchell and stopping Aaliyah Boston. That opens up looks for a Lexi Hull. So her 10 and 15 were priced really fantastically 2 days ago, so we hopped on that in the Discord. But I really like Lexi Hull in this game, simply from a volume perspective. You could look at Odyssey Sims. She's going to get that volume, but Odyssey plays a different role, right? Odyssey is kind of a poor woman's Kelsey Mitchell, right? She's going to drive to the basket. She can shoot the 3, but isn't going to do it as often. Whereas I like Lexi Hull. She plays a different role. She's going to get that attention drawn away from her. They're going to force basically the Fever to win on a Lexi Hull scoring day as opposed to a Kelsey Mitchell or a Leah Boston day. So just a couple things I'm looking at. The last thing I want to call out is that Brittany Griner really just is unplayable at this point. If you are betting on her, she's just not getting the minutes at all. So I would stay away from Brittany Griner. Jumping into the Aces versus Storm, I should have played this. I saw Flo talk about this in his stream as well, I believe, but I don't know how the heck the Aces were only favored by 6 against the Storm. They are playing so well, and they match up really well against the Storm. The Storm are kind of struggled. The first thing I want to talk about, though, is the rotations for the Storm. So I mentioned this in my prop thread for the first game, but Noelle Quinn has really played the hot hand for the Storm. And what that means is that if Skylar's off, if Sykes is off, if Gabby's off, she's not afraid to play her subs. So that basically means Erica Wheeler. And we saw that in this game. So Sykes was playing pretty poorly, and we saw her play just 16 minutes where Erica got 25. So you have to be cautious of that. If they're having a bad game, they're going to get benched, and that's not going to be a problem for Noelle Quinn to do. Couple other things I want to call out. I really like Dominique Malunga going into this game. I liked her from a point perspective. She's getting 20 to 24 minutes a game. She's also getting that Nalissa Smith matchup, and previously that's been a pretty good matchup, although Nalissa played some pretty strong defense in this last game. But Dominique is getting a lot of opportunities. I think she had 11 shots, but 9 of those came in the first 3 quarters before blowout minutes kind of ensued, and she missed several bunnies. I don't anticipate her missing that many bunnies again. If it's a close game, it's probably because she's playing. Again, we talked about playing the hot hand. They need her in this game. Ezzy is not going to get it done offensively for them or really defensively in that regard. you might as well play Malunga at that point. And then if it's a blowout, you're going to get Malunga minutes to get her some additional playoff experience. So I like her points in this game. I kind of like her boards. Like her double-double was priced at plus 800, so that was always a nice play as well. If you're worried about her not getting to the 15 points, but if she gets 20 to 24 minutes, she should be able to hit that 10 board mark. Interestingly enough, I also like NaLyssa Smith, and I don't generally take rebound plays in the same game against each other because you're kind of asking for uncorrelated things to happen, and you're not getting any value because of it by playing them separately. But NaLyssa Smith played freaking well, and when you look at why she's able to get rebounds against the Storm, it's because Asia is taking NECA, and then NaLyssa is taking either Dominique or she's taking Ezzy, both of which are playing closer to the basket. So she has a better chance at getting the ball and rebounds because she's generally just playing closer to the basket. On the flip side, she's also being guarded, I believe, by NECA generally, which allows her some opportunities as well. So NECA is not going to be dominating the glass generally, but we have seen NECA get a couple rebounds in this game. But I do like NaLyssa Smith in this matchup getting some boards. She's played really, really well so far in the playoffs. Last thing is Jackie Young. I've been on Jackie Young all season. I think she's fantastic. What I love about her assist is that the books have an interesting approach to switching up their assists. And this is how I know potential assist data is so valuable and how they don't have it. Because every indicator will say that Jackie should have a higher price assist line, or a lower price assist line, than Chelsea. If you were looking at a 6+, Chelsea should be at plus 140, and Jackie should be at minus 160 when you're looking at purely their potentials. But the books take into account for certain players, namely Chelsea Gray and Jordan Canada, they look at name. Because Jordan Canada, if she gets 5 assists, her line's bumped up to 7. Chelsea Gray, if she's anywhere in that 5 to 6, her line is bumped up to 6 or 7, just inherently, without the supporting data to support that. So I really like Jackie in this spot. She has been the primary facilitator. Chelsea kind of stood on the side, wasn't as integrated into the offense, although I anticipate as we get further into the playoffs, we'll see more Chelsea Gray. But Jackie Young is absolutely the dominant ball handler here. She had 18 points on 6 of 9 shooting and 7 assists on 18 potentials. So I don't know how you don't take her 6+ in this game. That would require a 33% conversion rate. And against this team, especially when she's feeding the ball to Asia, you expect that to be pretty easily hit, especially at a plus 100. Like that should never be priced at plus 100. The last thing I want to call out here, the Storm do struggle in the paint in defending bigs, and Asia has had a lot of success here. But what we saw them do to Asia earlier in the season was put a lot of pressure the moment Asia touches the basketball, a la the Valkyries. I anticipate we see that here. They didn't do it hardly at all in game 1, but if you want to win this game, you have to force other people to score. You cannot lose because you let the best player, one of the best players in the world, arguably the MVP, score 30 points. You just can't let that happen. You need to force the ball out of her hands, and you force a Chelsea, you force a Jackie, you force a Jewel to score points and get you the W. So I anticipate we see a lot more pressure on Asia in this game, which could lead to some more assists as well. Her PAs have been 7-9, 7 and 6 against the Storm. I think we'll see probably a 9 or 10. I didn't jump on it because there's other plays I like a little bit more, but I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen in this game. So I anticipate that we see an Aces win here. I think we'll see arguably a Dream win as well. I think it'll be a closer game, the Dream versus the Fever, but I think the Aces will be relatively blowout. It's just they're going to be ready to kick some butt there. The first half might go to the Storm, but the Aces will turn it on, and they're ready to kind of do business now. So that's what I got for today. Quick and dirty. Tomorrow we will be back breaking down the WNBA slate again. It'll probably be in the afternoon. And then we'll have some soccer talk as well at some point. So as always, if you like the content, make sure to follow us on X, Wade_Andrew, also Parlay Olay Bets. And if you like what we're playing out here, check out our Discord, wap.com/parlay-olay-bets. We post our plays for everything. We got a soccer capper. We got a college football capper. Will Zan has been on a tear. He's up 10 units over the last 2 weeks, capping primarily college football props. Logan does our money lines and spreads. Dare does cover our big lottos. He's done a really good job there. And then we have Ryan breaking down soccer. And then I cover the W, the NFL, and WNBA. So having some good success there as well. In the W, we are up 50 units on the year. In the NFL, we are up, or I'm up personally 6 units on the year. Had some struggles, but being up 6 units, I'm fine with that. The first 2 weeks, we'll get it building up as we get more into the season. So appreciate y'all. Have a great day, and I'll talk to y'all later.